Hello everyone, Fraud Review here, and today we'll be reviewing a very special Mei player. Oh, that's not a lot of juice for how much rating they had. Let's take a look at the fraud data. Today's fraud is the lowest rated fraud we have covered to date. Surprisingly, they are also by far the scummiest and most obvious cheater I have ever seen. This one is something special. You might have already noticed that their record is full of marked cheater games. All these matches are played against the very same player who only has recorded games against our little fraud. It's safe to assume that this is their secondary account. As you can see in their match history on the left, they purposefully lose to their secondary to drop floors. Since the secondary account is banned, Mei experiences no rating loss and gets to play against lower floor players for elo. Their rating graph shows us that this is a grueling process with many ups and downs. If we take a look at their R code, we can see that they unfortunately privated it, so it's impossible to check how many hours they spent doing this. There's surely no way I could get my grubby little hands on their Steam profile, right? Of course there is. Let's take a closer look at someone who has to farm floor 7 players for their own ego. Surprisingly, their favorite game is Guilty Gear Strive, which is very funny considering they are actively ruining the game with their behavior. They even made a tier list. Looks like they main a very honest bottom 9 character. How cool. If we look at their other games, we can see that they are a fighting game veteran. It's beyond me how someone with this much experience purposefully downranks themselves just to bully less skilled players on a lower rank. Don't get me wrong, for the amount of time they put into these games they are horribly mid at best, but most of the players they play against are just brand new and stand no chance. That's why I decided to showcase 2 games today where they got washed. I don't think anyone wants to see a killjoy like this win. That's all for the fraud data. Before we head into the review, I'd like to thank LBP1224 for bringing this fraud to my attention. I'd also like to thank Wisp for helping with the Mei part of the review. Wisp is an incredible Mei player and his help was invaluable. This video wouldn't be possible without them. Let's see how good this killjoy is after nearly 1200 hours of Mei. This vertical dolphin was way too far away to have any chance of connecting. To add to that, vertical dolphin is generally not a good neutral play in this matchup since Axel has access to a bunch of buttons that can intercept you easily, like 5p, 2s or 6k. This burst was extremely early. While this conversion could have hurt a bit, Axel was not even doing anything when Mei bursted. This could have been a very free bait, basically losing the round for Mei instantly. "5k dash cancel is easy to react to and -11, so it basically leads into a free punish for the opponent. We're not even a minute in and this fraud is already tilting me with these vertical dolphin shenanigans. After getting smoked for it 2 times in 1 round, they'll surely stop doing it, right? I know it worked, but wake up throw whiff into another wake up throw is an incredibly nasty habit to have. Don't get me wrong, wake up throws can work every now and then, especially if you conditioned your opponent to not go for frame 1 meaties, but generally speaking, against good players it will just get you killed more often than not. And this is the second time 5k dash cancel put Mei in a bad spot now. This should be their wake up call to stop doing it. This fraud just lost that entire round to repeating the same 2 mistakes over and over again. If they don't pick up on this and play it normally in the next round, all hope is lost. Duel 2. Let's rock. 5H as an autopilot made no sense here. I don't even know if there's anything the opponent can do to make this 5H connect. While Mei can't get too much here without using Wild Assault, they could have converted this into a mediocre knockdown. Here's how that would look. And here's exactly why this fraud needs to stop doing vertical dolphin all the time. I just don't understand how someone with over 5,000 hours of anime fighter experience can do the same mistake 5 times in a row. Especially when that mistake put them in a worse spot every single time. Mei left a massive amount of damage on the table here. This could have even killed with the right routing. Here's how much damage they could have gotten with a proper route. The notation is on screen. Mei had 2 bars of meter here and could have finished the round without resetting into a risky overhead. Why is it that all these frauds never look at their meter? This is the second time they wasted a huge hit on a reactable 50-50 now. There's no way this is the setup they almost threw 2 rounds for. And of course they know a homing jump route. They have almost 2 bars of meter, positive bonus, and Axel is 1 hit away from dying. This should be pretty much over if they don't waste all their meter now. And there's the hit. Axel is pretty much forced to burst now, so Mei can just Roman cancel and wait it out. Basically a risk-free burst bait. And there's the Roman cancel into burst. All Mei has to do now is block. There's nothing Axel can do at this point. I don't know what to say at this point. This fraud wasted 2 bars on an already dead Axel and somehow managed to not win. I want to remind you that this player has over 5,000 hours of anime fighters. And then they die to the same mistake again. This was a massive routing mistake. Routing into 2S off of that JH hit leads into basically nothing but horizontal dolphin. They could have gone into a close slash for a wall break instead. Here's how that would look. The notation is on screen as always. The corner pressure was all over the place here. It basically just looked like they were picking random options. It's so nice to see that the legitimate players actually have better conversions than this fraud here. And here's the vertical dolphin shenanigans again. They get killed for this in every single matchup, it's unbelievable. And once again our fraud decides to just immediately drop their massive combo with a 2S. They could have easily killed here with 2H vertical dolphin. This was the most beautiful and deserved teabag I have ever seen. Now you might be wondering how such an experienced player can lose to 2 people way below their own floor. If we take a quick look at their tier list, we can see that Axel and Sol are just way stronger than Mei. It all makes sense now. This burst was so quick it seemed like a premeditated fumble. It looks like their thought process was that they have burst, so it's okay to just throw and mash on wake up even though Soul has an easy meaty here. Burst is one of your most important tools. Use it to escape a bad situation instead of using it as an excuse to make dumb decisions like this fraud here. This fraud is absolutely addicted to Vertical Dolphin and it's losing them every round. It's important to note here that Vertical Dolphin is incredibly risky in the corner. If your opponent calls you out on it, it's game ending. As you can see here, Vertical Dolphin will completely miss if you just walk forward for a few frames. While this is a pretty hard call out, the reward is utterly insane as it puts Mei into the corner for an airborne counter hit. You can even choose your starter with a few exceptions. Amazing fuzzy from Soul here. While their gameplay is still a bit shaky, they got a lot of good ideas, especially for the floor they are playing on. It's crazy how little our fraud blocks on wake up, over 1000 hours of Strive, and they still lose games by just not blocking half of the time. Our fraud has 2 bars of meter once again. There's a million different ways you could use it to escape this situation here. Let's see what they do. Look, I get that using meter can be very hard, especially when you're starting out, but this player has absolutely no excuses for this. After over 4000 hours of Dragon Ball FighterZ, they should be able to dump meter in their sleep. For those who are unaware, in DBFZ everyone is constantly completely juiced on meter. The moment someone gets touched, the whole family pulls up to dump 7 bars on you and send you straight to hell. I just don't get how someone that played this game for so long still runs around with 2 bars of meter constantly. That meter should have been spent yesterday. That's all for today's fraud review. I'd like to thank Wisp again for helping with the Mei part of the review. The video wouldn't be possible without him. We will finish this week with a Johnny viewer review. There will also be a poll for the next viewer review character, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching.